It's time for Cigar Talk, the fastest growing cigar show in the nation.
Welcome back to Cigar Talk. I'm your host, Rob Jones, and we've got Larry in the co-pilot seat tonight. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing great. Fantastic day, fantastic week.
Another busy week.
Yes, it was.
But it was a good one.
Yeah.
Mine was same. I was very busy, and I smoked a lot of good cigars.
Yes.
And when you smoke good cigars, regardless if you're busy or not, it just makes the week better.
Makes it so much better, and I'm looking forward to hearing about some of the great cigars you smoked this week.
Oh, we're going to talk about that later on, guys. We will do our pick 6 of the week. I'll give you my favorite 3 cigars I had this week. Larry will give you his. And, in case you're like, oh, that's on his list again. Yeah, because you know what? When they're
That's how good they are.
When they're your cigar of the week, basically, it's like, there's a reason. Yeah. And for me, when I shape that in, you're not going to hear a 1926 Padron, a 1964 anniversary, and the Padron 50th anniversary every week.
Right.
Because I'm poor. Yeah. I'm a working man.
Can't afford to do those all the time.
Right. Yeah. And, that's not realistic. Because, for me, I'm a budget cigar guy. I have to be because... Yeah. When you smoke as many cigars as I do, if I smoke 5 cigars a week, I could smoke any cigar I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you smoke 5 a day,
yeah, it's a different story. And I'm the same way, So there's some great budget sticks.
If you told me there was a tree that grew cigars on it, you know what I'd pay you for that?
A lot.
I don't drive a badass brand new truck. I smoke cigars.
Right. That's right.
And that, you know what? I love that. Yeah, that good. All day, every day. That's my choice.
We decide what's the most important to us, and you can enjoy, the truck is going to burn a lot of gas.
Oh, and
it's not environmentally friendly.
It's not dependable.
That's right.
Some of them are. Don't get me wrong. I know guys that have had trucks that just go in forever. But I also know guys that have drove a truck brand new off the lot, and within 2 weeks, transmission went out.
Yeah.
And they covered it eventually, but
it's a hassle.
He was all the hassle, and he was without his truck.
Yep.
And it's like, wow. And that was like a $90,000 truck.
Yeah. That's crazy.
With cigars... friends.
Yeah, and we smoke good cigars. We find them at good prices, and the cigars we smoke very rarely let us down.
100%.
My cigar has never left me on the side of the road.
But you know what? I've been stranded on the side of the road with my vehicle.
Yes, but
while I waited for roadside service,
you had cigars.
I pulled out my camping chair, and they were like, "Hey, man, it's going to be like 2.5 hours." I was like, "I'm good." Yeah. It was a beautiful day.
I'm glad it wasn't this summer when it was 138 degrees.
No, this was in late April.
Yeah.
Temperature's probably 68, 70. It's like, dude, I'll be out here all day.
Where were you?
I was between Slayton, Texas and Post, Texas.
You should have called me. I'm glad you didn't, but you should have called me.
For what?
I would have come.
I have roadside service.
Oh, good.
What would you do what would you do better than what they do?
I would have said call roadside service.
Hey, call me up. I'll give you good advice. Hey, man, I'm broke down with a flat. Call roadside.
Yeah, that's right. I've got great advice for you.
I have great road advice. Road vice. Is that like head lice? Or are you getting a blowjob on the highway? Okay, folks, it's going to be like that today.
Reel it in.
All right, sorry, guys, sorry. I've tried to, we're going through a transition right now. Yeah, we really are.
Yes.
I'm sure some of you have noticed that there's changes going on, but we're not just making changes because of the obvious. We're making changes because looking back, I feel like I let the show go for a bit. And I owe it to the people who listen to this show to get the shit back on track.
That's right.
And so that's where we are. And so you'll notice that I get reeled in more.
Yeah.
So, which is not a bad thing.
That's why I'm in this seat
There
tonight.
you go. There you go.
Keep Rob on track.
It's like Larry is the captain of the ship, and I'm back in the back just with a hammer trying to bust holes in the side of the boat.
Always.
Look at this. So anyway, we'll do our pick sixes. We're going to continue the, what do you call it? The
Tips for beginning cigar smokers.
yeah, what every beginning
smokers.
cigar smoker should know.
Yeah.
And
That's kind of what I said.
yeah, but I've had a few drinks. You know, I've tried not to drink as much before the show. I did not adhere to that today, but that's okay. Sometimes that's just the way it's got to go.
Sometimes you got to break the rules.
See, and that's so funny because I've always been like, sometimes you got to follow them. See how you are? You're glass half empty. I'm glass half full.
I'm worried about the lightning is going to strike.
All right. So anyway, we'll continue that. We're going to have tips for you. We're going to give you also like our pick for top 5 cigars a beginner should try.
Yeah.
You may not love all of them, but you might love one of them, 2 of them. You know what I mean? If you loved all 5, like you'd need to send me a check for $19.95. I doubt you're going to want to get all 5 or that you would love all 5. But we thought about it and put out our best choices.
And we're not saying that these are the
Excuse me. Mark that one. Okay.
we're not saying that these are the best cigars for everybody. It's simply a suggestion. You know, something.
Oh,
to
100%.
consider. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not forcing you with a gun. You're going to smoke this. Sorry.
Yeah. You did put that away. Okay.
He's looking around the table going, where's that pistola you had last night? Yeah.
All right.
So anyway, I think we got a great show lined up, and we're also going to be doing Tabanero's $50 giveaway again this week.
That's right.
And so, hey guys, we'll talk about them right quick. Oops. Didn't realize that box was that tall. But anyway, speaking of Tabanero cigars, you know, they're our sponsor. And right now we're smoking on a box of the Neros. It's Maduro. We got it in I believe the Robusto. And I think it's a fantastic cigar.
It's a great cigar. I'm really enjoying it.
Like, I have not read anything on that cigar, but for me, hey, you know me, help yourself, bro. And so, as smooth as it is with the strength it has,
Yeah.
like, to me, it's a great cigar.
I'm loving this.
And how many of these have you smoked and had any problems with?
None.
Yeah.
I've never had a problem with any of the Tabanero cigars I've smoked.
And I will say because they test draw every cigar. And a lot of people think that the test draw is only to test to see if you can have the airflow go. But if your cigar has other problems, it'll show up on that same test. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't just go for that because it might be a tighter draw because like there's too much of this combustion leaf in or whatever it is. Right. And so it's like, throw it out.
Yeah.
And you know, McAuliffe does that too. Did you know that?
I learned that from talking to you a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
And it's again, it's good to have a company that really cares that much about the product that they're putting out. So you know.
Dude, I don't understand why every cigar company doesn't do it.
I wish they did.
Because the worst thing for me to buy is a cigar that I can't smoke.
There's no reason. There's no
You know
reason
what
to
I mean?
have it.
That not only does it take away my enjoyment, it pisses me off.
Oh, well, yeah, and I'm the same way.
You buy a $12 cigar, a $15 cigar, and you
can't smoke it.
You're like, well,
this was a waste.
Yeah, and if you try to smoke it because you just spent $15, that's going to make it way worse. I promise you, if it's plugged and you can't get any draw, throw it away. Do not fight it. You will regret it for an hour.
It takes completely away from the experience.
100%.
It's frustrating. You want to sit down and smoke a cigar and be able to relax.
Right, and you got your friends you're talking to, and
even if you're by yourself, you just want to be able to relax.
Either way,
have a good time. Yeah.
But when you're with others,
it's even worse.
You don't have the time because you want to enjoy the company. But when you're messing with your cigar the whole time, you're like, "Hey, what did y'all say? Hey, you know what I mean?" It's like,
"Oh, what I missed? What I missed this time?"
Right.
Yeah.
And so, make sure you're buying cigars that either they give a shit at a very high level of their cigar quality, or they test draw their cigar.
Every single one.
Because there's a lot of shitty cigars out there.
There's some bad, we've had some bad cigars.
I mean, I know I have, and it's like there's cigars I stay away from just because I know they're shitty. I will tell you this, speaking of that, well, you know what? It's on my list.
Okay.
So I don't want to talk about it right now. Anyway, guys, also Tabanero, let them see the little travel case there. You got that leather with the cedar inside.
This thing smells so good.
Yeah, before the show, I thought he was huffing paint, but it was that cedar. You're like the girl on Price is Right.
I'm not like a girl. And you're talking about Wheel of Fortune too, by the way.
Oh, okay. Vanna White.
I am not Vanna White.
All right. You're Vanna Black.
Nice leather. Beautiful cedar inside. This really does smell good. It smells really good. I'm not going to sniff it again.
I mean, it's, you know what I love about it? To me, it is like simple and elegant.
Yes, it is.
It's case elegant.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So look down in the show notes and you'll find a link that'll take you over there. They sell good shit and we highly recommend it.
Definitely do.
And it's, you guys don't know, but I'm like cheap. I am so cheap. If you're cheap at all, you're going to want to know what I tell you to look for.
Yeah. You want to know about case elegance. And it's not just humidors they make, right?
Oh, no. They make
watch cases.
boxes. I think last year they made a F4 jet, flew it to the Mars. You know, I mean, they make badass shit.
To the Mars.
To the Mars.
Don't they make something for the ladies too?
Oh, jewelry boxes. And I mean, they got leather wallets, and I mean, they make man stuff and women stuff.
And lady stuff.
Yeah.
Everything that they make is good quality.
Dude, when I say I'm cheap, like I'm cheap, but I want it to last. Yeah. And I don't want problems with it. So I'm all about the budget, but number one is the quality.
Exactly.
If you don't have the quality, then you just wasted whatever budget I put towards that. And so when I say I'm cheap, you just know
You're
that
frugal.
if I would prefer to be called cheap though.
Okay.
Frugal sounds a little, you know. Well,
Rob is cheap. He's cheap. Everybody get it? Rob's cheap.
But then you look at the display on the table of the bourbon. Like, would you say this is cheap?
I keep forgetting. I'd say it's good quality bourbon.
So we're looking at our bourbon on the table, guys, and so we have a 375. What is that? Milliliters or something?
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got the Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. That's what we started the show with. Okay, that's what we started. You see the bottles almost empty. We started that before we started the show. That's why we're on a mini mine train.
Rob had a pregame.
Yeah, I did the pregame. So then we've got the Early Times Ball and Bond. Like, that is a budget bourbon all the way around.
Budget.
And what I mean, like, is pound for pound, champion for champion, by the ounce price on that, that's the best bourbon on the planet.
And we want to stop talking about that because we really don't want everybody to know.
I told the guy at the liquor store, you know, we're friends with the guy that runs the place. Who could have called that? But
he's our bourbonist.
Yeah, and you know, he takes care of you.
He does.
And I told him that. I was like, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if at early times within 5 years it's going to be $40 across the playing field. And he was like, oh, no, I don't think so. And he was like, because of their distributor is like Sazerac.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the distributor of it.
Okay.
And they're like, we're about volume.
Good.
And so I hope he's right.
I hope so, too.
Maybe I'm wrong.
But not only they're about volume, they're about quality.
100%.
They definitely are about quality.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though.
Mm-hmm.
They're not selling half of what Eagle Rare sells. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's very rare that I go in and I don't have at least up to 5 bottles of this available. Usually it's more than that. How many of these are available?
Those are hard to find.
We have the Eagle Rare on the table. I mean, I paid $35 for it. And it's aged 10 years.
All right.
It's 90 proof. We know it's one of the smoothest bourbons out there.
It is.
And it's like, that's also a great value. And that's one of the reasons it's so hard to get.
It's rare.
Boom.
Yeah.
And it's like,
It's in the name.
it's 10 years and it's at $35. Where else can you find a 10-year-old bourbon for $35?
Yeah.
So
That's a good that's a good value. That's a
right.
good value.
And then this one, you've never had this one.
I have not.
So
I will.
well, you will.
Yes,
Yes,
I
you
will.
will. So anyway, guys, so the bourbon on the table is the Early Times Eagle Rare, and then the Woodford Reserve Double Oak, and then our final bottle is the Penelope. It's the Architect, and it is 104 proof, and
Oh my.
I think you're going to like it, though. A lot of flavor in this.
All right.
So I will wait for your review.
I look forward to trying it.
Anyway, McAuliffe cigars. You can see right here on the wall, guys. That's the McAuliffe label. And I mean, these guys have cigars that is going to make you, they have a cigar that will make you happy.
They do.
And I would say probably multiple cigars they make will make you happy. Like
They've got a great line.
the Medallia, like I put the Medallia up with the comfort that that cigar gives me is like what my wife does for me.
Wow.
Right. That's how good that cigar is. Can you think of a better compliment?
I cannot. I absolutely cannot.
So, anyway,
When I talk to her again, I will tell her what a wonderful compliment you paid her.
yeah.
Here on the
but
show.
don't tell, no. My wife doesn't listen to the show, folks.
That's why you're still married.
And boom. I have a special wife.
Yes, you do.
You know I do. I mean, if you know me,
I do.
like most people were like that know me, is like, what woman would put up with that shit?
Yeah. She certainly does.
Yeah. 28 years, people.
It seems like 56 to her, but yeah.
I'm a little slow. So anyway, let's jump into our, do we want to do, let's do our pick 6, and then we'll take a break and come back and start with Tabanero and do the beginner guide.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
Yeah. You want to go first?
Yeah. You know what? No, if you got yours, I got to get my phone off the floor.
That's a long story, folks. All right, I'll go first. So a couple nights ago, Rob gave me an Alec Bradley post-embargo. I had never had that before, and I smoked some Alec Bradley cigars. I'd never had that one before. I don't know if I've ever even seen that before. I've heard people talk about it. I don't think I've ever seen it before. That was a great.
And I told you that's my favorite Alec Bradley, other than like the Signature series, and then like the Rare and Fine, or Fine and Rare. I never know which one it is.
It's fine and rare.
Okay,
Yes, fine and rare.
seems to make sense.
It was a great smoke. 5x52, semi-box pressed. Has a Honduran wrapper, Nicaraguan and Honduran binder, and a Nicaraguan and Honduran filler. Alec, they call it medium to full. I call it more kind of medium. I've never found anything that I consider to be really strong, really full-bodied. Not really full that packs that punch. But it was a good smoke, though. It was a really good smoke, and I appreciate you giving that to me. I'm sorry you don't have any more. Let me know when you get them in.
I absolutely will.
Okay. The Punch Classico Maduro. That's a Rothschild 4.5 by 50. Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, Connecticut shade binder, and Honduran, Nicaraguan, and Dominican filler. It's smooth with a little spice. And then also from Zeno in their Scepter series, the Grand Master. It's a Robusto. It's a 5.5 by 52. Ecuador, Connecticut wrapper, USA, Connecticut binder, and Dominican Republic and Peruvian filler. It was pretty mild. They called it light to medium. I just would call it light, very light, but it was great with my coffee this morning at the faculty meeting. We missed you, by the way. I said it was pretty mild, but it was quite enjoyable, though.
All right.
Enjoy that.
Excellent, man.
All right. There's
Good,
my three.
good three.
Thank you.
I'm going to start with mine with the AJ Fernandez Dorado. Have you smoked it?
I have.
What do you think?
I enjoyed that.
I mean, it's AJ,
Yeah.
so right out the gate, hats off. If AJ's making your cigar, you've got a damn good cigar.
I'd forgotten about that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
When they first got them in the leaf, I think they first got them, and I tried one or two.
I had one.
Really enjoyed them.
Yeah, got it at the leaf.
Yeah.
So great cigar. And so folks, just so you know, like for me, I'm not going to tell you what it is, the binder, wrapper, and all that stuff. Larry's likes to be like educational.
I had to do a little research.
I'm not up all into doing the educational piece. I told a good friend of mine that I also work with that I've been around a lot longer, and I said, I'm going to give you some advice because you're wanting to, move up in the company.
Wants to level up.
And I said, it'd be in your best interest not to monkey see, monkey do over here.
It would be in everybody's best interest.
It's like I do things my own way.
You're like the golden child.
Anyway, my next cigar was the Rocky Patel ALR. Now, have you ever smoked one of those?
I have not. Age limited and rare. That's what that stands for. I've never had one of those.
Dude, this is my very favorite Rocky Patel. I don't have a lot of favorites of his lines,
Right.
but this one surpasses the other ones by leaps and bounds.
Ooh, I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, it's really good. And then my last cigar,
I'm going to write that down.
have you ever seen this cigar?
I'm not sure. There's no band on it.
There's no band on it.
I don't recognize it.
And it's a figurado, but it's a box press. And instead of having like the nipple on the top, it's kind of just almost like a regular Robusto tip.
Mm-hmm. I have no idea what it is.
It is a definition cigar.
The good definition.
And well, I've had my love-hate relationship with them because of issues that construction wasn't great. And I saw this cigar and it was just beautiful. And I was like,
stick.
I got to smoke that. And I looked and I was like, oh, that's definition cigar. I don't know. And I was like, you know what? I got to smoke it. It's that beautiful.
That looks good.
Yeah.
That looks delicious.
And so brought it to the studio, smoked it last night, and I was like, y'all knocked it out of the park with
All
this.
right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so hats off to Definition Cigars for making, and you know what? I don't even know the name of it. So you know what? I'll try to find out the name when I go back to the leaf.
Yeah.
And, but anyway.
Need to find the definition of that
Definition
name.
Cigar, but I don't know which one. So, but you'll know what to look for.
yeah.
You know what? They don't have a band on it.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, here's a hint. This one didn't have the lace,
Yeah. The little garter belt.
which is colored.
Yeah.
And this one, so you don't know at all. You know what I mean? Except when you go in, ask for the one that has no band.
The one with no garter belt.
Hey, maybe that's the name of it.
Yeah. And by the way, don't say colored again. Not to me. Continue.
And usually when I use that word, it's in a different context. So anyway, that's my 3 of the week.
All right.
And so,
Great list.
yeah, I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
I was like, dude, if you gave me like 100 of each one of those sticks, I'd be good for a month.
No, you wouldn't.
Well, I would have
2
to
weeks
add
maybe.
in others.
Oh, yeah.
I would
sprinkle some other things through there.
You know, that's something like, as far as my cigar smoking, like I'm going to smoke the same thing every day.
Right.
I'd like to change up.
Mix it up. Yeah, and I'm the same way, which is why I very rarely buy boxes. You know, when I first started smoking, I'd buy a box of cigars. Then I'd buy another box of cigars.
You know what's funny is I did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I would go in and buy 2 or 3 cigars, but mainly I would buy a box and smoke through it. And what I figured out about a lot of cigars, and actually a lot of cigars made me think I didn't really care for them.
Yeah.
The truth is, I do like the cigar. I just don't want to smoke it every day.
You get a little tired of it.
Right.
You need to do something different for your palate every now and then. You treat your palate to give your palate a treat.
Exactly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to play a game of checkers. And then when we come back, we're going to... What are you laughing at now?
Nothing. I'm good.
All right. So we'll be back and we're going to do the everything beginner guide.
All right.
That way we'll be educational. Anyway, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Well, I'd load up my shotgun with rock salt and nails. I'd load up my shotgun.
That was Tyler Childers. And are you a fan of him? Like, I know you don't know him well, but you've listened to quite a bit of what I've played.
And this is the only place I've heard him. Pretty good. Some of it's pretty good, though. You know, I like a little bit of just about all kinds of music. So
People say, what kind of music do you like? I say good.
there you go.
That's, it's got to be music.
Yeah.
There's got to be some artistic value to it in any different form that I'm like, oh, I appreciate that.
I like some of just about everything. I don't really do heavy metal, but I like some of just about everything else. And probably more country and Western than most people would think. That probably has a lot to do with all the time I spent in Texas.
True.
You hear it a lot, but there's a lot of like, love me some Willie Nelson.
Oh, yeah, you can't go wrong. But anyway, that was Rock Salt and Nails, and it comes from the album of Tyler Childers Live on the Red Barn Radio,
right.
Part 1 and 2.
Okay.
And so check out that album if you haven't, because, dude, that dude's writing. Like, his singing, guitar playing is amazing, but his writing is just killing it for me.
Everything I've heard, it sounds like there's like some kind of he can tell a story.
Real
he can tell a story. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, dude's talented. So anyway, guys, if you skipped all the way through the music, hey, welcome back to the show.
So happy to be here.
That's right. So you've switched over. I'm still nursing the bourbon that I had. You've switched over to the Penelope Architect.
Yes, I have.
What do you think so
I
far?
enjoy it.
You look like you're enjoying it.
Yes, I am enjoying this a lot. 104
Third
proof.
one.
Fourth.
Yeah.
Don't get this twisted.
Tell them who won the checkers.
I did. Always.
Cheated.
Well, okay.
He made me play with the red.
I always go with the black.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, what we got some tips for you. We have part of the beginner's guide, everything that you should know. Larry is going to give you 5 things every cigar smoker should learn to do.
That's right. We ready to go?
I'm ready. I'm all ears.
First thing is learn to cut and light your cigar correctly. Make sure you got a proper cigar cutter and that you light your cigar evenly, the entire circumference. And for those of you from Lubbock, that's the
Round part.
yes,
Right.
yes, all the way around the entire circumference of the tip of the foot You should toast the foot first too.
100%.
Don't just light. Don't just put
you know
flame
what?
to the cigar.
If you are not toasting the foot, folks, you are risking your entire smoke. You know what I mean? If you don't take the time to toast it, there's a lot of shit that could go wrong.
You're setting yourself up for failure.
You're gonna screw up a lot of cigars, and you're gonna think it was the cigar's fault, but it's not. It's your fault because you're not taking the time to toast the foot. And tell them what toasting is, because maybe some people don't even know what that is.
So you want to first. You should always. I think you should always either use a cigar torch or matches. And if you're going to use matches, light the match and then let that sulfur burn off some first.
Yeah, you don't want to be sucking that in.
Yeah, so, and personally, I try not to use matches. And if you're going to use matches, for me, every time I've used matches, I use more than one. I'll light 2 or 3 matches at once.
Now, what about the cigar matches? Have you used those?
I have not. No, that's good because they're longer.
My wife orders those for me.
Oh,
and they're great because one match, you can actually light the entire cigar.
Yeah, because you want to burn through the sulfur, and then it's mostly going to be the wood that's burning.
Right, and then when you do that though, when you're lighting your cigar, you toast the foot, and basically you're not burning it. Mm-hmm. Toasting is toasting, so it's best if you don't even touch the flame to the cigar.
Exactly, you want to let the heat
get to the face of it, and you'll notice it because it'll start turning black on just the edges. And when you get it toasted all the way around, now you're ready to light it up.
Yep.
But when you light it up, it's like you need to really inhale puffing on that cigar to get it going. But once you do, you need to roll that cigar. If you just do one angle, you're gonna regret it.
You're not gonna get an even light.
I usually do 3 turns, and that way I ensure that I'm getting all the way around before I sit back and enjoy.
That's right. So, yep.
Hey, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. And we are going to roll right into the everything the beginner guide need to know.
Well, we're going to start with 5 things.
We're continuing the series, all right? Apparently, that's what podcasters want. I read an article that said, do a series. I was like, all right, we're going to do, how to avoid prison, or we're going to go with the top things every cigar beginner guy should know.
If the how to avoid prison thing doesn't work out, I'll see you in 5 to 10 years.
Right.
And I'll be on the outside.
Looking in. Told you not to be doing that shit, Rob. It's like, your white privilege ran out.
Okay. Learn to cut and light your cigar correctly.
Dude, I thought we covered that already.
Okay. We did.
I'm pretty sure we covered that. But do we need to recover?
Well, for the people in the back
that
maybe didn't hear it.
But did we?
We talked about that. Yeah. We even went on to matches. I've never used a cigar spill before, though.
I don't know what that is.
It's one of those little cedar pieces.
Oh, I call them cedar planks.
Okay.
But whatever. I didn't know they had a name.
I saw something one time.
I made up the plank because I'm like, cedar planks.
A piece of cedar.
Yeah.
I've never used a piece of cedar.
I've never used that either.
And, they used to keep them at the leaf up at the counter. I don't know if I'm not sure if they still have them there.
They used to.
Yeah.
Because a lot of boxes come with that material, and they would actually cut it into strips so that you could use those. Yeah.
Have you used
many
one?
times?
Okay. I never have. I've always told myself I was going to, and I would probably rather do that than
matches.
Than matches. Now, cigar matches would be good though.
And I'll tell you that the cedar stick is great because
cedar spills. Maybe that's what we call them. Cedar
spades. Now we're just making shit up. Sorry, guys. It's like, hey, I learned something new on that show.
I gotta go.
They call those cedar spades, and it's like, no, they don't.
It's movie night. I'm leaving.
That's what Rob said. Anyway.
Okay. All right. So we talked about lighting the entire circumference of the foot.
Toasting.
Yes, toasting. And what does circumference mean again, Rob?
It's what's going around.
Yeah, the outer area. When you're learning how to smoke a cigar, remember, and this is important, do not inhale.
Please do not inhale. Let me tell you a little quick story about that. So I have a very good friend. We'll just call him the doctor, okay? He comes over. Recently, he had the flu. I call him to make sure he's okay. And he doesn't answer my calls. He doesn't answer my text. I call his friend.
That happens a lot to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm like, am I blocked? Did you block me yesterday? Because some people are like, I did, but it was just for the weekend. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not doing anything stressful. So those days, they block.
You remember I didn't answer the last 3 days?
Yeah.
You were blocked.
And I get that a lot.
I had some things to do.
Yes. Yeah. You know, he had the flu and he came over afterwards. He was like, I feel great. And anyway, he's smoking a cigar and he starts coughing. And I'm like, could you quiet down a little bit over there? You know what I mean? You're infringing on my hearing. It's like, I don't want to hear that coughing every, like 80 seconds. Yeah. And we had another friend here and she said, are you sick? Are you still hacking? And he was like, started explaining. And I said, he inhales his cigar. Yeah. That's why he's coughing.
Yeah. So don't do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, do not inhale.
All right, that's tip number 2.
Okay.
What about tip number 3?
Tip number 3, explore good mild cigars before you experiment with the stronger blends.
Oh, 100%. And we have a list of 5 cigars every cigar smoker should try if you're new.
And
even if you're not new.
It's going to be a good list. And especially if you're not new, just go back and try some of those if you haven't tried them in a while, because there were some good cigars on that list. And I look forward to trying 1 or 2 of those again that I haven't had in quite a while since I started my journey. But yeah, explore some good mild cigars. The stronger blends are good, and once you get a little ways down the road on your journey, you'll probably start to enjoy some of the stronger ones. But
let me add this one thing too, is here's what I'm going to say about, like, when you're brand new, unless you're like a prodigy child of like the Nazareth, like your palate is going to be just dumb. You know what I mean? I know there's some guys that like have those type of palates to where when they started, it was like, angels singing in their ear. But for the majority of us, you're going to be lucky to get a note out of a cigar within 2 years. Yeah. And that's like, for my journey, probably the reason for that was I jumped into the hardest hitting cigars I could get. And it was like, oh, your palate, it's a punching bag. You know what I mean? It's like, and he's like, all right, I can't taste shit.
Yeah. Left hook.
I was smoking cigars that basically they had one note, and it was pepper.
Yeah. It was a base note.
Because I could, pepper, I can get that note.
Enjoy this.
Right. But look, the first time I smoked in 1926, I wasn't even ready for it. Not even close. I was like, all right, I just paid $30 for a cigar and it's not any better than anything else I'm smoking.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, not only is your palate not seasoned, you are a retard for saying that. You know what I mean? And I don't mean like modern day. I mean like back in our day. Because like today, you couldn't even say that word.
And yet you just
I'm relating to that back in the day.
From the older days, from the older times.
One who flew the cuckoo's nest.
Yes.
Right. Anyway.
Okay. When you're smoking,
you're like, we're moving on.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
When you're smoking with your boss or in public, brush up on your cigar etiquette.
Let me ask you a question, and I agree. Everyone should know etiquette because there's times where you can just hang out and smoke. You don't give a fuck. Whoa. I do not know where that came from, people.
We talked about this.
Yeah, sorry about that. just hit you right upside the head.
You can edit that out.
No. Anyway, we don't edit the show. Anyway,
Will not be censored.
That's what makes it fun.
I want everybody to know that I did not say that word.
Right. What was the word?
Good try.
Hey, got to try, right?
Yeah.
No, but, just take your time and relax and enjoy it and not worry about what other people think. But when you go in public, that's a whole different ballgame.
Sure is.
You don't show up wearing a Speedo and silver sneakers. You know what I mean? It's like, you just don't do that.
You remember the time you did that?
Yes.
And you got asked to leave that shop?
Yes.
Yeah. Which time? Which time was that, though?
I was thinking of in the colony.
Okay. It's happened more than once to Rob. So we'll talk about cigar etiquette a little bit. Do's and don'ts. It's not an exact science. A couple of rules that fellow cigar lovers follow.
Now, is that cigar lovers or is that cigar lovers?
I'm looking at the words.
Well, you're on a bondage website. I thought you were like doing cigar research.
I didn't know you could see this.
And why does it say hi-ho, hi-ho, off the cigar goes?
All right, I'm going back to... Let's just go back to where we started.
That's usually pretty good advice.
Keep track of the cigars you try. Some people save their bands in a cigar journal. I've got a friend, he said when he smokes something for the first time, if he really likes it, he puts it in a little Ziploc bag.
Excellent.
And then he said he has another little Ziploc bag for something that he doesn't like. So he puts those in that bag. And he keeps the bags. So
I thought you were going to say he stuffed his wife in a bag. Sorry, folks. Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
She's out in the back pushing up daisies. She's fertilizing the roses. But, so some people, they save them in a journal or just take a picture of it. So you can remember, I really enjoyed this.
100%.
Or I did not.
I'm not going to save my bands.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you go on, you smoke randomly selected cigars, either by yourself or somebody that you understands has an idea of what your palate does like.
Yeah.
Because there's people like that for us. Mm-hmm. Like, look at Scott at the Leaf.
Yes.
Like, that dude recommends me a lot of cigars when I go in. And I would say he's probably 80 to 85% on the money.
Spot on.
You know what I mean? And it's like, so if I buy 10 cigars, one of them I didn't like, but the other 9, I was like, yeah, those were good, dude.
I like
you know what I mean?
I like how you did that math just then. Smoke 10, one I didn't like. That means there's 9 left.
So
I'm proud of you.
Did you hear the gears, like the rust, like binding up?
I saw sparks flying from your headphones the whole night.
The eyes went one way and then they went back the other way. Yes,
I'm really impressed.
Yeah.
But some way or another, keep track of the cigars that you try. And from my experience, if I've smoked something that I just absolutely hated, and I told you, I don't have that palate that can pick out different notes of this and that for the most part. But the things I did not like,
this is angelic to me, and this is an old man's pair of balls.
That's not how I would describe it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I would say this is angelic.
But you're going to steer clear.
I just did not like.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
All right.
Let's wrap that up.
Okay. So that was 5 tips for me.
Great tips.
From things to know for new cigar smokers.
Great tips.
Rob, let's talk about...
I think what I wanted to say about the tips that you gave, it's like, here's the thing. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
And so a lot of guys that listen to this show is going to be like, I knew all of that. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, when you come across people who don't, be the guy that is happy to teach the new guy how to do it the right way. Yeah. So there's not people, because there's those people that are like, Hey, look, he doesn't know what he's doing. Look at that moron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, don't be that guy. Be the guy that's helping the new guy.
Help them out. That's that's one of the things I like so much about the Leaf, because most people there, if you're new, somebody's going to help you. And sometimes it's somebody that works at the Leaf. Sometimes it's one of the regular customers. You know, Sam pretty much
100%.
lives there.
Oh,
Sam
yeah.
pretty much lives there. I've watched him go into the humidor and help people find cigars. They don't know what they're looking for. So
Yeah, I thought that he married Brian Wilcoxon and they just lived there.
I haven't ruled that out.
I mean, I just figured that.
Yeah.
I hadn't been around a lot because, you know, my life's been kind of crazy. But when I come in, I'm like, yeah, those are a couple. You know what I mean? And you know which one's the wife. Wilcoxon.
Okay, all right.
All right, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Serious.
No, you're not.
So anyway, hey, and I wanted to give somebody a shout out.
Give
I've
it.
been meaning to do this for like probably 12 shows, but it's important to me because 12 or something shows ago, I said something about somebody that I want to apologize to. So Melanie Cisco Kid, a lot of people know her as Lil Cisco. I had been drinking and I said on the show something about, yeah, you know, she don't know shit about cigars or whatever. I don't even remember what it was. I just remember it was a negative.
I
And
can't believe you would do that.
well, you know, I probably do that a lot.
I believe that.
But I believe that, like, I know how hard she works, and like, I'm not gonna throw darts at people who are working their ass off. So, regardless of what you think about her, what I can tell you is she works her ass off.
All right.
And it's like, you know what? I respect people that do that.
Hats off.
And so if I said anything negative or offensive, Melanie, I think you're badass. So that's what that is.
Hats off to Melanie.
Hell yeah. And light up a cigar.
Yep. Hey,
Cheers.
we haven't done that tonight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm smoking. You're smoking. How's that? You got a 6x6?
Oh,
you got
yeah.
a 660 by
It's
flathead?
the flathead. This is the Gordo.
CAO.
Loving it.
Yeah. You know what?
They call this the carb.
Let me tell you something. That is actually my favorite CAO.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is the stick. Like who made that stick? Who blended that? You know, a lot of people who once worked for CAO or some other companies that are like, you know, they got their really good cigars, have gone on to start their own business.
Mhm.
But I'm curious, we should find out who blended that cigar.
I'll have
Because
an answer next show.
that is a
This is
that's
great
a
cigar.
that's a home run.
This
like
is solid.
that's a I would say that's a grand slam.
You know, this is my go-to. This is my go-to stick.
I'm well aware.
Bought 5 of them yesterday.
I'm well aware. And so
I've learned some things from you mostly.
well, I would like it if you would learn to speak into that microphone.
I've learned some things from you mostly. I told you when I first started, I like big cigars, the big ring gauge, because they just feel more comfortable in my hand.
Right.
But, under your tutelage, that means learning. I've discovered.
I thought maybe it meant tool.
No.
You were under my tool.
Under your tutelage, which means learning.
Gotcha.
I've discovered that some of the smaller ring gauges, they really do agree with me. And I've really liked
And
that,
you know
that
what?
medallion
Well,
that you like so much.
But let me say this though. So the small ring gauge does not guarantee it's going to be a good cigar.
Yeah, I understand.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like when I got on to the 44, 46, well, really 46 ring gauge, it made me dive into the 40s.
Yeah.
And I was like, I found a lot of good cigars there. But just because it's in the 40s doesn't mean it's going to be good.
And
you
I understand
still
that.
have
Yeah, I get
to
it.
go on that journey to find the ones that suit your palate.
Right.
Not all of them will. But I promise you, the ones that do are going to take it to the next level for you.
Yep. So I love the 660, but the 554, smaller ring gauge. That's a
You
great
like
cigar.
that one too?
I do. I really do. So I would say probably the
Now,
CAO.
here's my question, and I don't know the answer to this. Are they the same blend?
I believe they are.
Because that would make sense.
Yeah.
Like each series is the same blend, but a
Just
different
small.
vitola.
Yeah, different vitola, yeah.
Gotcha.
And so one of the other things that's great about the 554 is if you don't have as much time. What was that?
Random.
If I
It was
don't,
going to be a trivia question later on, but
if I don't have as much time, the 554 is a better smoke sometimes, just simply because I don't have quite the same amount of time.
how long does it take you to smoke the 6x60?
I shouldn't say this, probably about 45 minutes.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm a
That's
fast
a
smoker.
2-hour cigar. And let me tell you what, what's funny as shit? People used to say I was the fastest smoker they knew.
Then they met me.
But no. Here's the thing. That's where you are in your journey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not right or wrong.
Yeah.
So, like, you don't have to worry about, I'm going to say this out loud. No, that's where you are in your journey. When you get to, like, the stage I'm in, it's like sometimes I'm smoking on the same cigar for 3 hours.
Well, the first time I gave you a 554, I was surprised because you smoked it for almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
But you seemed to enjoy it too, though. You kept saying, "Oh man, this is a great cigar. This is a great cigar."
Now I'll say this, when I'm really like engaged with other people or even like listening to music,
Yeah.
like I may take a puff like once every 3 to 4 minutes. And a lot of times I got to relight my cigar. And you know what? I don't care because I'm like really taking in the music, and that is just like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm a huge music fan.
Yes, you are. Well, we both are, but yeah, especially you.
Well, I mean, you too.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the reasons we get along is because we both really into music. But anyway, okay, well, let's jump into the top 5.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Cigars every beginner. Anyway, we're going to jump into that. Where did I save it? I've got it right here, folks.
So I heard you talk about a couple of them earlier, and I want to hear the rest of them. The ones you mentioned, I've had probably 2 or 3 out of the ones you mentioned, and I would agree that's a good place to start.
Yeah, well,
If you can find it.
I pulled it up earlier, and oh, there it is. Boom.
There we go.
All right, here we go.
Drum roll, please.
You know what? Here we'll do the heartbeat. And then it died. So here we go.
CPR.
And these are not in any particular order. They're just 5 cigars I think all beginners should try because it's a nice little transition. You're going to have, all of these cigars are going to be light to medium. There's not any going to be on here like medium plus. There's not going to be any full bodied because you don't want to send someone there that hasn't been there because I did that.
It can be good. It can be good to start light.
I feel like I really missed out by jumping head on into the bolds because, I'm a cool dude. I don't want to be like everybody else and be doing, working my way up. I'm going to start with whatever,
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's dumb. That's dumb. If you think you're cool because you're smoking 6x60 really dark shaded leaf cigars as a beginner,
Are you talking about me?
you're not a beginner.
Okay.
That should not be someone's first cigar.
It was not mine. I had to work my way up to this.
Right. But taking shortcuts and getting to that now,
It can hurt you.
you're not You're not gaining anything by going that way.
You're going to miss some things.
You're going to miss a lot.
You're going to miss a lot of things along that journey.
Because that's what I did.
Along that long and winding road.
And then when I jumped back, I was like, holy shit, look what I've been missing out on. I thought this was the way to go. I was going to join the dark force. The dark side.
Coming over.
Yeah.
We have cookies.
Red Rover, let dumbass come over. So, in case you don't know, I'm the dumbass. All right.
Let's get to the list.
First cigar on the list is the Arturo Fuente Cuban Corona Maduro.
Okay.
Great stick. It's 5 1/4 inches, and it's a 45 ring gauge. You know, that is a great little stick.
Yeah. But it's a Maduro, though.
It is a Maduro.
It's interesting.
Because a lot of people think that the Maduro is always strong. But what they don't know is Maduro is also sweet. Yeah. It's also chocolatey. It's also smooth. Like, you can do a lot of things with the Maduro leaf, depending on where it's from, how you ferment it. So, like, it's the real deal. You decide how you want to work it.
Yeah. I think I mentioned to you a while back that my good friend Mike, who, when I was having problems because I was not enjoying Connecticut's, Mike told me you should try a Maduro. He said that, they're dark, they look like they're really strong, but he did tell me, he said, there's a little hint of sweetness to them.
Oh, 100%. When we have that Maduro leaf on your lips, you're getting that sweetness on your lips. So every time that you see someone at the bar and you want to lick your lips, you're like, oh, that was the Maduro I was smoking.
Next cigar.
Okay, so here we go. Romeo and Julieta Capulet, the Corona Gordo, which is in the 6x46.
All right.
Great cigar.
In that ring gauge you like.
It is. And I mean, these are tried and true companies. Yeah. Like, a lot of people that are hardcore cigars are going to be like, I only smoke boutique. I don't smoke this because they're corporate. Let me tell you something. When you've been around as long as Romeo Julieta, you know what the hell you're doing. Mm-hmm. You've got people in place that have experience to oversee all of it. So I don't want to hear that bullshit.
I knew somebody, I know somebody who liked to smoke cigars allegedly, and I only smoke Macanudos. That's fine. If you like Macanudos, that's fine. But, man, you're missing out on so many other good cigars.
Exactly. And, I mean, I think that's the main reason I don't smoke the same cigar all the time. Like, I'm constantly trying new cigars. 50% at least, I'm never going to smoke again. Yeah. You know what I mean? When you're trying a lot of new cigars, it's like there's a lot of cigars out there that's just, it burns. I puff. You know what I mean? It's it's not doing anything.
Yeah.
But 25% usually, maybe 20%, they're great. Yeah. And you want to remember those.
And when you branch out, you learn about different cigars.
Boom.
You learn about different brands, different blends, different sizes, different vitolas.
And I know people who have bought the exact same cigar, the exact same vitola, box after box after box, and they never venture out. And you know what? They're happy as can be. And I'm like, that couldn't be me.
And those are the ones that say, well, I know what I like. Okay, but maybe you would like something else. Maybe you just get out of that. Get out of that trail and find something different.
Yeah.
Just try something. Hey, you know what? I will give you a cigar. I want you to try this. And that's happened a few times. Oh my goodness, man, I never realized.
100%. As my wife says, hundo P.
Okay, good.
I mean, for me, you got to get out there and try stuff.
Yes.
But on the flip side, if you're happy buying the exact same cigar box every time, knock yourself out. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying for me,
you're missing.
I want the adventure.
Yeah. That's part, but that adventure is part of the journey.
For me, it is.
Yeah. And for me too. And I think for anybody who's just buying the same thing, not to offend you if you are, but I think you're missing out.
It's a lot like a man that's happy having sex with one woman. Sorry.
Next
Moving on, okay?
Yeah, let's move on.
Gran Habano #1.
From?
The Connecticut Rothschild. Well, the Gran Habano is...
Oh, that's the
Yeah.
that's the brand.
But it's the #1 Connecticut, and it's in the Rothschild, which is a 4.5 by 50.
Wow.
Anyway, that's just a easy stick. You know what I mean? It's you're not going to write home about how many flavors on the notes that you found, but you are going to enjoy like the one note it has. And it's good.
It's a good note.
Yeah.
The one note is a good note.
The one note is good. You're not going to have a roller coaster.
All right.
You're going to be on, you know how they have escalators?
Yeah.
But what's those things called where they just stay flat? The people mover?
I think that's it, yeah.
So that's what that is.
It's a people
like,
mover.
it's way better than walking. You know what I mean? But it's not taking you up.
It's not going up, yeah.
But that's how. Dude, I was in the airport last week, and there was a woman walking next to the people mover, and I'm on the people mover walking. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's not just so you don't have to walk. It's also that you can walk 3 times the speed of your normal speed.
Yeah.
I mean, I when I got off of there, I went to the bathroom and put on a red cape.
And was she still out there walking?
I don't know. I got arrested because I took everything else off. I was like, where's the helicopter?
That must not have been a pretty sight.
No. Although there were people that pulled out their cell phones.
Is there another cigar in your
But
list?
I think they were dialing 911 instead of taking video.
That's a good thing.
So I ran. Anyway, here is number 4.
I'd like to see you run sometime.
Not like that, you wouldn't.
Are you going to get a bike still?
I do plan on it.
Okay, good.
I've been looking. I told you I would like to ride a couple of bikes to see, because when you buy a bike now, you don't get to ride it first.
Some places let you test ride a bike.
It's a lot like a car for me.
No, there are places that will let you test ride.
Okay, well, Academy didn't seem to be like one.
Yeah.
All their bicycles were on this rack up on the wall, and when I pulled them down, which was like...
You pulled them all down.
Not all of them, but the ones I wanted to look at. So I'm pulling them down. My daughter's with me.
Dad, don't do that.
Yeah. It was, dude, the bikes are on these racks so close to each other that when you pull one bike off, here comes another one.
And another one, and another one,
but
and
then
another one.
I get them down and the tires are flat. Yeah. So you can't ride it. They don't want you to ride it. But, if I'm going to spend $300 on a bike, I'm cheap. I'm going to get a ride first. You know what I mean?
You might have to spend more than $300.
You might have to massage my prostate.
I'm not doing that, Rob. It's not going to happen.
All right, sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, folks,
there's not that much bourbon.
Here's number 4. The Oliva Series G.
Series G.
That is a very good medium cigar.
That was one of the ones I tried early in my journey, like at the very beginning of my journey.
Did you like it then?
I did not. And
tell me why.
So I think that maybe I smoked them too soon. I got 5 of them, and I think I smoked them too soon.
What kind of grill were you using?
So they were, it had the firebox on the side. No, but I had like 2 left, and I let them sit in my humidor for a couple of months. And one night I was hanging out with an attorney friend of mine. I have friends that are attorneys, not because I need an attorney.
But when you need one, it's good to know one.
And back then I didn't need one because I didn't know you at the time. Now that I know you, I keep them on speed dial. Anyway, I had 2 that sat in the humidor for probably about 6 months now that I think about it. And we were hanging out, me and the attorney friend were hanging out one night, and we had smoked some cigars, and the last thing I had was 2 Series Gs. And we lit them up and smoked them, and it was a completely different experience. And, I've told you before, I go back to something a few months later, and, wait a minute now, this is kind of nice. And I think that might be what happened then. I'm going to try another one.
Nice.
Just to see. But I think that is a good, I think that's a good smoke for somebody that's really early in the journey for a new smoker?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
So the last one on the list, definitely not last on my list, is the San Cristobal Elegancia Grandioso. Those are fantastic. Like,
I'm impressed you were able to say all that at once. And I think you got it right, too.
I'm 100% sure I did.
As you usually are.
Right.
Whether you did or not.
Yeah, it has no bearing on the factual information, but
on your perception.
I believe it's 100%. But yeah, I kind of wow, I kind of impressed myself there. But anyway, if you haven't smoked San Cristobal, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Like, even today, like, that cigar, I would like to smoke it again soon. One time, and then I probably wouldn't smoke it again probably for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go over to their Revelation, I'm a fan of that cigar.
All right.
So every time I say Revelation, I hear bells, like a church bell. Yep. Hey guys, that is the 5 cigars I recommend every beginning cigar smoker try. If you're not a beginner and you haven't had those, I highly recommend that you try them. And so anyway, we are going to take one last quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to do the Tabanero question or trivia of the week. You can win $50.
$50.
$50 is $50.
Masada bucks. Masada money is good money.
You can say that again.
Yes. Masada money is good money.
All right. Hey guys, we'll be right back after a quick break. All right, let's jump into this week's Tabanero trivia for $50.
Masada money, let's bring it on.
You remember the question?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we do a little research. We're going to make it hard this week, folks. I mean, it's $50. You know what I mean? Like, people are winning $50 every week. And so this week, unless you've lived in a cave with no internet for your entire life, you know who Bonnie and Clyde are.
If I was in a cave, I probably had no internet.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Just saying, yeah. Okay.
They don't live there now.
We can agree on that.
Right. So anyway, Bonnie and Clyde.
They don't live anywhere now.
Well, they're dead.
Yes.
So, but what I want to know is, what was her dad's name? Her granddad on her paternal side.
Wow.
Ooh.
We got to go deep for that one.
I'm going to have to get a Scooby snack. So anyway, yeah, we want to know the name of her paternal grandfather, what state he was born in. You don't have to give me the town, just what state and what year was he born.
I want to know who gets that one.
That's going to take some work. Okay. Like, I know you're not going to know. No one would know this off the top of their head. If there was an individual that just knew this information, I'd be like, dude, you got no life. You know what I mean? Have a cigar.
Let's dig deep.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the question of the week. We'll put it up, and when you see the special Cigar Talk and Tabanero joint post, it'll have our logo, their logo. You'll know that's where you're supposed to answer the question. And so you got to follow them. You got to like the post, and you got to tag 2 friends in your answer. So what did you think about Bonnie and Clyde? Like, did you know about them when you were young? Like, when was like?
Yeah. So the movie, Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway.
Right, great movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot of romancing as far as telling the story. Yeah. Like, it made it out to be they were much more romantic type people when they were actually just killers.
Well, but I think there was probably some romance there. I think there was some love.
He was throwing her the bone, if that's what you're trying to say.
I hope nobody I know is watching this. But no, we don't know what happened back then. We don't know. What we know is what history has told us.
And history is like a version of something
that somebody wants you to know. So again, it comes down to what the people who wrote history want us to know. I'm not saying they were right, because you should never steal, you should never kill, definitely. But in doing some reading, I've found some things that have made me believe that maybe Bonnie was not as involved in all the shooting and killing that. I have a torch that might work for you.
I'm over here. Click, 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 click.
Look at that. Don't burn yourself. So I was at the Leaf the other day, and they got the Zycar fluid back in. This is high-octane stuff. I need to dial this down a little bit.
Yeah, because that could burn me. I was like, use the force, Luke. Singed off my eyebrows.
Which is a good thing.
I got a couple of hairs there growing up.
You don't have the unibrow anymore, though, and I appreciate that.
I didn't know I ever did.
Okay, see, you have to be more self-introspective.
Did it just go away?
When,
I'm not shaving right there.
When you use that torch, unibrow's gone.
It's like a waxing, but it's the flamethrower. Gotcha. Okay. Hey, so that's the question. Yeah, I'll in the show notes, I'll have a link to Tabanero's IG, and go by and check out their cigars, because I'm telling you right now, both McAuliffe and Tabanero, if you're a beginning smoker, they both have Connecticut's that I highly recommend. McAuliffe also has the Riata that I recommend. So I didn't want to include sponsor cigars in the actual list because, we're not going to be one-sided. Yep. So I researched and made a list outside. But when you look at our sponsors that do quality work.
McAuliffe and Tabanero make great cigars, and there's something there for everybody.
100%.
In that line, they have something in both those lines. The McAuliffe line, Tabanero line, they have something for everybody.
So, hey guys, if you made it this all the way down to the very cutting nuts of the show, thank you. I doubt there's like 2 people who be like, I shaved my ball sack for this.
Rob.
Okay, reel it in. It's the end of the show. Hey, guys, we appreciate you listening, as always. And until next time,
smoke them if you got them.
Happy trails until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and think about sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again.